In this video, I'm going to be going over some recent Sega video game pickups. So it's been a while since I've done a pickups video, at least a month or two. So I wanted to go ahead and touch on some of the Sega items I got recently. Some of these are maybe from 2 months ago, some are from, a couple weeks ago, as recent as this past week. So I want to go over those in this video. First thing I'm going to cover is actually an item that a lot of people don't know about, and it is actually an arcade board. And this is the Sega STV. It's the Sega Titan. You may be familiar with the Neo Geo MVS, and this is kind of similar to that. It took a cartridge slot, and it's basically a Sega Saturn in arcade form. And so I recently acquired the Alpha arcade machine, and so it's an arcade cabinet, 3/4 scale size, similar to what Arcade 1-Up's going to be releasing, that same size scale, and it's JAMA ready. So that allows me to plug this directly into it and have a full working Sega Titan, which is amazing. I'll be doing a build video of that machine hopefully pretty soon. And to go along with that board, I do actually have a couple of the Sega STV cartridges. This is what they look like. They are in cartridge form, except for CDs. There is one game that was released on CD form for the STV. Off the top of my head, I do not remember what that game was. But we've got a couple common titles here. We've got Super Major League. Really fun game. Tecmo Road Cup 98. And Intro Don Don, which is a Japanese game. It's actually a kind of a karaoke quiz game. So we got that to go along with the Sega STV. Really excited to get this all hooked up. I'm revamping my game room right now, and so I'll be doing an updated game room tour pretty soon that you'll see a whole new layout that's going to include a wall just for arcade machines. Moving on, we're actually going to move on to probably the best pickup of this video. Let's move on to Game Gear. So, I'm getting pretty close to having a full Game Gear library. And what I did is a couple weeks ago, eBay had their I think it was a 15 or 20% off coupon. And so I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and pick up Spider-Man Arcade's Revenge, which was one of the titles I was missing. Came across it on eBay with the manual, so I went ahead and ordered it. And what happened was, I ended up getting this in the mail instead, which is the regular X-Men with the manual. So the place I got it from on eBay is actually a pawn shop in the Carolinas. So I messaged them and said, hey, I received, the wrong game. It was supposed to be Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. I double checked the eBay listing. It did show Arcade's Revenge. And so they said, no problem, go ahead and keep it for your troubles. So they let me keep the manual in the game, which was really cool. And they sent me the game I actually purchased, which was Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge, manual and cartridge. So really excited for that. And literally about a day or two later, somebody contacted me. They had a copy, a US copy of Pete Sampras Tennis for the Game Gear. So if you follow the channel, if you know me personally, this is a game I thought I would never own. It is so scarce, the US version. You can get the French version, you can get other versions, but this version is so scarce that I thought I would never find one. The last copy I saw was complete in box. It was, asking price was around $4,500. And so he contacted me. He said, hey, I have this game, and threw a price out. I said, absolutely, I'll buy it right now. Bought it on the spot. He's actually lives in France, but it was the US version, so he went ahead and sent it over. It arrived. Actually, about 2 days later, he contacted me again. he said, hey, I actually have another copy. Would you be interested in that one as well? And the first thing that came to mind is one of my subscribers, Eric. He runs Toysaurus. They do a lot of ROM hack games for the Sega Genesis. I knew he recently picked up the game and was missing the manual and been looking for a manual. I said, I got you covered. So I went ahead and picked it up. Eric doesn't have the manual yet. Literally, it just came in today. And so I've got an extra cart that I'm going to be selling. I'm going to be very particular on who I sell that item to. I know that the resale value is through the roof on Pete Sampras Tennis, which realistically should be a $10 game. It's just astronomical. So I want to make sure that the person I'm selling that duplicate copy to is a collector and not just a reseller. So that, you know, trying to make the most profit out of it. I want to go to somebody who I know is going to enjoy it. It's going to get in their collection. Maybe they even want to play it. And so I actually have 2 copies of these. And it is Pete Sampras Tennis for the Game Gear, which is awesome. And here is the manual as well. So I actually got 2 copies of the game, 2 manuals. One of those manuals will be going to Eric. The other game will be up for sale. Moving on to some Sega Genesis titles. We'll start off with Bob. A game that I've been actually after for a while, just because it was one of the games start with the letter B that I didn't have. I'm pretty close on a full Genesis library, and so, you know, periodically I'll look through my collection and see those gaps of, okay, I have all the numbers, I have all the A's. Oh, I'm missing a B. And that was Bob. So, very cool to get that one. Another one, I was really shocked to find this. This is kind of one of those unlicensed titles for the Genesis. And it's Funny World Balloon Boy. So it's 2 games on one. It's got Funny World and it has Balloon Boy. And these are definitely interesting carts. And then this is the game. So really cool to be able to get that. I was just browsing eBay one night looking at ending soon auctions, and I saw it pop up and there were really no bids on it. I got a great deal on this off of eBay. Next up, we've got Strider Returns. I got this from Facebook. I had the game, but I did not have the case. And so now I have the case and game, which is awesome. Blades of Vengeance also got on Facebook. Really excited for that one. And this is one that, for some reason, I'm still not sure why this game costs so much. It's really weird. To me, this should be around a $20 game. Last I checked, it's around $40, which is pretty crazy. Alright, 2 heavy hitters for the Sega Genesis. We're going to start out with Splatterhouse 2. Now, I already had the game, but I did not have the box for it. I made a trade with somebody on Facebook. I had a complete in-box game that he was interested in, and he actually traded me this as well as Troubleshooter, which is here, and High Seas Havoc for that complete in-box game. And so I have an original box for Splatterhouse 2. Had no problem giving up the complete box copy that I traded. I can easily get that again. Coming across a box for Splatterhouse 2 is nearly impossible, and if you do, the price is through the roof. So we got that, we got Troubleshooter. We got a couple more loose games here. High Seas Havoc was the other one I referred to. We also got Ernest Evans. That came off of Facebook as well. Another Facebook game that I got. Somebody contacted me and said, hey, he's got this prototype game, would you be interested in it? I said, of course, any Sega Genesis prototype I'm always interested in. And so I ended up getting it, and it is Miss Pac-Man for the Sega Genesis. I opened it up, it is a prototype board, so it's really cool to have that in the collection. And last but definitely not least on the Genesis, we have a complete in-box copy of Musha. So I love Musha, it's a great game. I had the cart loose. I went ahead and got this. I was actually able to get this for $175 on Facebook, which is an amazing deal for Musha, let alone the entire thing. So we've got the manual, the game, the case. I did sell my copy of Musha on eBay, my loose cart, for $190. So I basically came out ahead with a CIB copy of Musha, which is amazing. Let's move on to some Dreamcast titles. Nothing too crazy here, but I am trying to vamp up on the Sega Dreamcast. So starting off, we have Phantasy Star Online, Sonic Adventure 2, surprisingly a Sonic game I did not have, Championship Surfer, Fighting Force 2, Soul Calibur, and Jet Grand Radio. And then next we're going to move on to some Sega Saturn games. So I've been really trying to complete a lot of my Sega Saturn, Sega CD games. I'm looking to get original long boxes, where before I was okay with doing the loose disc, doing custom cases. I made the determination, if I'm going to go for a full Sega set, I might as well go complete. And so some of these are games I already had, but I sold off the loose discs in order to get complete copies. And so starting off, we've got the Lost World Jurassic Park, World Series Baseball 98, Soviet Strike, Tomb Raider, NHL Power Play 96, NFL Quarterback Club 97, Blackfire, this case is a little bit damaged. We got a copy of D, again, case is cracked across the front. This was actually a Facebook trade. I had a game I was looking to sell, one of my Super Nintendo games, and contacted me. He said, hey, do you need D for the Sega Saturn? I said, actually, yeah, I do. I didn't even have this game loose. And so we worked out a trade, ended up trading him a Super Nintendo game for D. So that was awesome. DEFCON 5, which is a Data East title. And then we've got NHL All-Star Hockey. And we have NBA Action. So a lot of those came off of eBay lots, eBay in general. A lot of these games were only a couple dollars, and so definitely worth it to try to get those complete. Alright, moving on to Sega CD. Really been trying to ramp up on the Sega CD set. There's not a lot of games, but I used to play it so much when I was younger that I really wanted to work on getting as many of these complete as possible. Starting off with, I was very surprised that I was able to get this, and it is Dark Wizard for the Sega CD. Not an extremely expensive game, but most of these games you'll see I'm going through are games that typically I'll bid $10 or less on. If I win them, great. If I don't, no big deal. This one, I actually got at a really good price. Right now this game's worth, I believe, around the $45 range, and I think I paid $25 for it on auction. It is complete. I believe all of these games are complete. Next up is Jeopardy. Then we've got Ground Zero Texas, which has the insert as well for the 2 discs. Lynx. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. A game I played so much as a kid on this platform. This is pretty much my go-to title, and it is Echo the Dolphin. And then we've got Dungeon Master 2. We've got some sticker residue on the case and a lot of scratches on the front, but it is complete. Another title from when I was a kid that I was really happy to finally get this one complete, and it is Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia. Bill Walsh College Football. If you watched my recent Retro Game Treasure unboxing, you will recognize these next two titles. And we start off with RDF Global Conflict. And this is the one that, if you look at the manual, it has Penn and Teller's, which was a unreleased game. It said coming soon. The game actually never got released. And then we've got Fahrenheit, which has the 32X version as well as the Sega CD version on it. And then we've got FIFA International Soccer, ESPN National Hockey Night, Double Switch, and probably one of the most common titles on the platform, and that is Prize Fighter. Still a pretty cool game, and it is, you know, one of those 2 CD games, so you do have the inserts. And last but not least, definitely one of the higher end games that I got out of this kind of pickups from the past couple months, and that is Android Assault for the Sega CD. So that's it for my Sega pickups from the past couple months. Drop me a comment below, let me know what you thought, and if you've gotten any pickups, definitely let me know what you've obtained, and how you got it is more important. I'd really like to hear stories of, you know, if you got them from eBay, if you got them from Shop Goodwill Auctions, did you actually get them at a thrift store, flea market, garage sales, estate sales. I always like to hear from people on how they've acquired games. But thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.